All right. Good Sunday morning, everyone. It is 2:40 in the morning, and we've got a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 6 a.m. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 3:15 a.m. We're actually taking a live look at our sky cam from Fritch, looking west-northwest towards a destructive severe thunderstorm warning, which will encompass Hansford, Hutchinson, Moore, and parts of Sherman County. Again, expected to expire at 3:15 a.m. This is actually due to winds gusting up to 80 miles per hour. So that's why it has that destructive tag to it. Could cause considerable amounts of damage. Winds of that magnitude will topple vehicles, high profile vehicles. So this is going to be a big concern for areas through Sunray. Let's go ahead and take a look at Viper radar just to show you where that storm is at. I mean, we've got this really nasty hook echo underneath it too. So this is a supercell, but we are starting to see this thing really starting to become outflow dominant here on the southern portion of the storm. We did get a wind gust of 60 miles an hour here in Dumas. And again, your strongest winds are going to be out here probably east of Dumas and south of Sunray. Sunray just got smacked by some of the bigger hail from this one and some very heavy rainfall. The BTI on this, which is considered the Barron Tornado Index, is pretty high at a 5 out of 10. So it basically is just stating there's a 50% probability for any kind of quick spin up within this supercell thunderstorm out here in Moore County. And again, you can see these blues and greens. This is your storm relative velocities. You've just got some really strong winds heading towards the radar, and red heading away. So you've got some rotation right in here off of Highway 152 there near Lou Haley Road. If you're back towards Natural Gas Road, this is heading in y'all's direction. You're going to get some really strong straight line winds out of this supercell there on we call the rear flank downdraft of that storm. So you can see actually it looks like there's a hook starting to occlude back up into this storm. So something to certainly keep an eye on. We do have a small little appendage in here that's got a nice hook to it. The tornado threat is low. It's just not zero.
Yeah, definitely a major wind threat. Folks in Pringle, Stinnett, you are part of that destructive severe thunderstorm warning polygon there. So you're still a little bit of ways away, but you're likely going to see this creep up on your doorstep here in the next 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and give you a timeline here. This thing is moving at about 25, 30 miles an hour to the south and east. So Sanford there at the lake, if this does reach you, Fritch around 306, 309. Pringle, same time frame there. Stinnett, it's 3:17 a.m. is the expected time of arrival. Buena Vista, 3:21. Dial at 3:23 a.m. And Borger, if this storm continues to maintain its intensity, expected time of arrival around 3:23 as well. So you've got about 40 minutes, maybe a little bit less than that, before this thing makes its way into y'all's region. So it's over in the east side of Moore County, but if you're in western Hutchinson County, this thing means business. This is a very stout storm, producing some winds as high as 80 miles an hour. They're also going to up the hail size to $half. You can actually see here's some inflow bands with this storm. Now, as you get to the left-hand side here, it's a little bit darker. That's portions of that rear flank where you've got some strong winds surging out with this thing. So you've got probably some rotation to some degree out in here. With how strong our rear flank is, I don't think the tornado threat is going to be a high concern. Just again, it's still going to be there. It's just a very low threat at this point in time. But you can see a very active storm system producing a tremendous amount of lightning out there with that storm east of Dumas and making its way through Sunray. This thing is headed towards Pringle, Stinnett, and Borger. If we put a quick 30-minute time lapse on this thing, you can just see this thing is moving southeast at a very fast clip. At 25 miles an hour. This thing's going to be headed right for Borger. So if you guys are in Borger, I would certainly prepare that this and expect this storm to impact you here within the next hour. So here's what it looks like from Borger. You can see there's big old shelf cloud out there off in the distance. Lots of lightning out there ongoing. This is mainly going to be a damaging wind threat with this severe warned storm. Yeah, they're thinking the strongest part of the damaging winds is headed right for Kremwall, right there at the Lake Dam of Meredith, and Borger, Texas, on the south side of Hutchinson County. If you're in Stinnett, you're still going to be in the way of this storm. It's moving to the southeast at 25 miles per hour. Stinnett, you guys are going to get caught in the forward flank. Again, it looks like the worst of the winds are going to be surging right there next to the dam of Lake Meredith, Sanford, Sanford Yake, and Borger. All of this area, kind of southwest of Stinnett, going to see the brunt of this really destructive storm out there. We also have this new one that pulsed up recently there in Lipscomb County. That one's warned until 3:15 a.m. as well. That one's warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds and some 1-inch hail. This is coming through Higgins, coming across Highway 60 right now. It will quickly move out of our area. Arnett, you guys will see probably a portion of the forward flank of the storm where it's going to be mostly heavy rainfall, but you will start to see some strong winds potentially as well. Got a couple of storms that just won't come, they won't die off. They're in the southern side of the Texas Panhandle. They should stay sub-severe. With this new outflow surging south, we will maybe have to watch for some additional development here further west. But right now, this is our most menacing storm coming over towards Lake Meredith right now, and Stinnett and Borger. It is a destructive, severe thunderstorm warning. Winds could be gusting as high as 70 miles an hour.
Yes.
Okay.
Size hail.
So they're going to lower the wind speed to 70 miles an hour. So that will take it out of a destructive category and put it into a considerable threat category.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was one for portions of Moore and Sherman. So it's this one. The one for Hutchinson is 80-mile-per-hour winds
So
still.
they
So
still
ahead of
have
it.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
So out ahead of the storm, they're still going 80-mile-per-hour winds.
And $half size hail.
Yeah, $half size tail, which is the size 1.25 inches in diameter. And they did have a wind gust at the airport earlier today, this morning, from that decaying thunderstorm in North Amarillo of 60 miles an hour. So if you guys did have some really strong wind gusts, they could have been borderline severe on the north side of Amarillo. That was earlier this evening. They did have that non-severe thunderstorm gust from that decaying thunderstorm of 60 miles per hour. So just looking at that storm from Fritch Highway. So this is basically halfway between Fritch and Amarillo. You've got this real low cloud base here. That's just kind of the bottom hook of this storm. You can see again, there's a good outflow boundary surging out on the western flank of it too. That's probably going to lead to some additional thunderstorm development further west, back up underneath Dumas and back over towards Channing and Boys Ranch. So those storms, any new ones that get going, will probably need to be watched and monitored for the Amarillo area as we head into the early hours of this morning. But right now you can see again just really low cloud base out here, a tremendous amount of lightning within this storm. Let's take a look at the lightning mapping array just to kind of get an idea of how active that storm is. We've got about 365,000 static discharges noted here in the Texas Panhandle. Some of those are from those thunderstorms down south towards Umbarger, but probably about 85–90% of them are coming from that thunderstorm there in Moore and starting to get into Hutchinson County. This one's going to be capable of 80-mile-per-hour winds heading in the direction of Borger and Sanford. We'll do another cut in.
Yes, for
Same thing, just heading towards Borger for
still
80 mile per hour winds and some half-dollar sized hail. This is a supercell.
posted a new link to Facebook.
Okay.
Because yeah, Fritz and Border look like they're going to be prepared for this.
So I'll probably toggle back and forth between Fritz and Borger cameras too.
Remind me, where is Fritz looking? And
So Fritz would be looking due north up towards
Yeah.
the storm from the south side. Borger would be looking at it coming from head on.
Fritz is likely seeing the rear flank downdraft from that view.
Yes, yeah. So this is there are RFDs on the left-hand side of this camera, and so you can kind of see there's a portion of the shelf cloud every now and then in the lightning. You've got probably some inflow feeding into the storm right here. This looks like an inflow band. So it's just warm, moist air feeding into the storm. I mean, lightning is just pretty well nonstop with this one.
So,
Did you hear me, Ian?
right. If I'm doing north, we can see an inflow band feeding the storm. Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay, you ready to do a cut in with Josiah? Okay, all right. Go ahead and get ready, because this probably won't take very long for him to get ready.
Can you hear me, Ian?
Looks like this storm's picking up full speed too.
Yeah, I'm gonna bump it to 35.
Her kind of shows this as its last punch, and then it kind of, if the her's right.
Good evening, Amarillo forecaster Josiah Champa here with another brief update with you with these severe storms. Taking a look right now, we still have a destructive severe thunderstorm in the area. This currently encompasses parts of Hutchinson County. This is still warned for winds up to 80 miles an hour, as well as hail that's half-dollar size. But taking a look at some of the areas that can be impacted over the course of the next 30 minutes. Sanford, 3 a.m., Pringle, as well. If you're in Stinnett, 309. But if you're in Borger, 318, you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye to the sky as these storms move through. They're, again, warned for winds up to 80 miles an hour. And again, you can have hail falling at 80 that are half-dollar size in terms of their size. Now, taking a look at our velocity, this is measuring the winds in the atmosphere. We see some blues and bright greens. That's indicating some strong winds aloft right now associated with this storm. So we see lots of blues, lots of greens here, probably anywhere between 60 to 70 miles an hour, showing winds moving in the southeast direction towards Sanford, Borger, just north of Lake Meredith there. You're seeing some of the strongest winds associated with this storm. The supercell make its way east, south, and east toward Borger, and you're also seeing Stinnett there, also on the northern side of this storm.
Yeah, so they're gonna up the hail size to this one to ping pong size. So that's 1.5 inches in diameter.
Yes, so now we're dealing with ping pong size hail, now going to be associated with this destructive thunderstorm making its way over into Hutchinson County, including portions of Stinnett and Borger. But taking a quick look at our camera there in Borger, we're seeing the strong storm there in the background, frequent lightning. We see the clouds there, possibly the shelf cloud there, making its way toward Borger. So we can see the storm and the threat looming there in the background with that frequent lightning. And behind that are going to be gusty winds again, possibly up to 80 miles an hour. And also heavy downpours are going to be associated with this storm. It could be difficult traveling although I do hope you are staying indoors, away from windows when we're talking about winds that can gust up to 80 miles an hour. So you want to be away from those windows and possibly in a room away from all of the wind that could be hitting your home. Now, again, the winds are in the storm is currently moving in the east southeast direction. Sanford, you're possibly starting to see some of those gusty winds start to pick up. Oil City to your north, you're also possibly starting to see some of those winds pick up. But from Lake Meredith, if you're along Lake Meredith, you're starting to see those winds make their way across the area. Fridge there, Sanford, but it's going to be down near border. You're just outside of the polygon though, but this line of storms is coming in your direction, and you're likely going to experience some of those gusty winds, heavy downpours, and in fact, ping pong size hail that could be falling from the sky. And this hail could be blowing, especially when we're talking about winds moving at that speed. But taking a quick look right now at our sky cam there in Fridge, what we're seeing there in the background, along with the frequent lighting, we have an inflow of moisture, warm, moist air that's helping to feed the storm, giving it its moisture, helping it to maintain its intensity. But what we're seeing here on the left side is going to be the rear flank downdraft. That's where some of the strongest winds are going to be associated with this storm over here on the left side. As we take a look due north, you can even see there in the background some low-lying clouds, possibly some scud there, as these winds and the storm continue to move in that east-southeast direction over the next several minutes. Again, we can see with the frequent flashes of lightning, all of the clouds, low-lying clouds there in the background, as the heaviest rain and strongest winds begin to make a move toward border and all the locations in between there as well. We were talking about Stinnett, we were talking about Oil City. You want to make sure that you're taking precautions, getting indoors. If you are still outside for some reason, you want to make sure you're avoiding the hail, the gusty winds, and these heavy downpours, again, associated with this. Some of this hail, again, could be ping pong size in nature, but taking a quick look at the timing, Fridge, 2:58. Right now, you're seeing some of the strongest winds make their way into your direction. Sanford, also Oil City, you have a couple minutes, but the storm is on its way. Stinnett, Buena Vista, within the next 10 minutes or so, you can expect to see this storm make its way in your direction. I'm going to step off a little bit just so you can see additional cities that will be impacted by this. Again, you're looking at velocity. That's going to be your wind shear. That's also going to make sure that we're seeing strong winds aloft. Now that means we're especially the green. That's winds moving east, in this case, south and east toward places like Sanford, Borger, even places like Electric City. The winds and heavy rain are going to be making their way right over to you within the next 10, 15 minutes or so, depending on where you are. But Electric City, 315, Borger, 316, and New Place, 317. You can expect to see some of these storms making their way through.
Yeah, so we're going to send a new severe thunderstorm warning out here for this storm. It's going to be for 70-mile-per-hour winds. So if you think that it is starting to lose a little bit of its intensity, still a very destructive storm. So certainly take it seriously if you're there in places like Borger, Electric City, back towards Hillard. This is, again, moving south and east. Again, we've got Matt here painting a picture as to where the leading edge of the strongest winds are with that storm. This looks to take a direct hit. Border looks to take a direct hit from the worst of the winds from this storm. So just make sure that you're staying away from those windows on the exterior side of the home. Again, winds of that magnitude, if there's any debris or any kind of large hail in it, it can certainly cause some problems. So don't want to be caught off guard and don't want to be caught in the wrong place within your home. So just make sure you're putting as many walls between you and the outside world as you can. So this is our reflectivity. You can see this is that big hook feature where you've got to get a little bit of some rotation within that supercell. You've got some really strong winds surging out ahead of this thing. You actually see the outflow boundary. It's kind of extended all the way across Lake Meredith right now, coming across into Fritch. That's also going to produce some pretty strong winds. It did produce some 60-mile-per-hour winds over in Dumas earlier this evening. But again, currently continuing to move into mostly Hutchinson County. So again, places like Borger, Stinnett, going to see some strong winds, some large hail, and you're certainly going to start to see some very heavy rain as well. That storm actually produced 2.5 inches of rain for Stratford earlier this evening in the better part of about 50 minutes or so. So that's a very heavy rain going to fall in a very short period of time. We do have another severe warm storm up in Lipscomb County. Do want to kind of briefly talk about that one. This one's about to exit the region, but if you're in Higgins, kind of in the heart of this this storm right now. They're on Highway 60. It is moving in a southeast direction, so we would expect for the strongest of that storm and cells to be moving out of our area back over towards Arnett and back into Roger Mills County, which is one that we don't necessarily cover. So 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for right now. Taking a broad view of things before we get you back to programming, we've got some additional development going up along that rear flank downdraft and a lot of that outflow boundary from Dumas and south. That some of the stuff that we might need to watch for some additional storm development here in the Amarillo area. But right now, worst of this stuff is going to be making its way into Hutchinson County towards Borger. You guys have about 5 to 10 minutes to get into that interior room, or at least away from the exterior walls, because the winds could be pretty nasty with this one, gusting as high as 70, 75 miles per hour. We are live on YouTube, so if you want to stay weather aware with us 24/7 this morning, you can tune in there. If you don't have our Storm Search 7 weather app, you can scan the QR code on the left-hand side of the screen, and that'll keep you weather aware with us here at Storm Search 7. We're going to get you back to programming for now. All right, so if you guys were kind of listening in, we've got that one storm that was destructive, now is a considerable threat, severe thunderstorm warning out there moving into Borger.
Wind signature not looking as good, but still possible 70 to 80 mile per hour winds.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is going to produce some really strong winds. The wind signature, like Matt was saying, doesn't look as impressive, but it could be producing some winds still around that 70 to 80 mile an hour range. So this is really going to head directly towards Borger. I think you guys are going to see the worst of this. Stinnett may not be much better. Seeing some of the stronger winds with this one. Again, this is tracking right down that old residual outflow boundary we talked about several hours ago. If there was going to be any kind of really significant storm to keep an eye on, it's going to be that one that's moving down that outflow boundary. And you can still see where the outflow is right now. It's just extending down towards White Deer and then kind of down towards Groom. So this storm is moving in that general direction. You've got some additional development out here. So just kind of in this whole region from Skellytown back towards McLean. This is an area to watch where we could see this storm cycle through. Again, kind of a couple of different cycles, and you'll see it ramp up like it is now, occlude, weaken some to a degree before it ramps back up again through the rest of this morning. The HER was showing that it was going to fall apart.
Yeah, a little bit, at least weaken as it kind of goes on. Let's see here. Yeah, 9Z.
So 4 a.m. So it's got kind of collapsing here in about an hour, and it does show us with some some thunderstorm activity real close to Amarillo too by 9Z by 4 or 5 a.m. So that's probably a lot of this stuff that you're seeing develop out here over in parts of Hartley County. If we get some back building with this, which again, when you get some winds that strong, usually that just acts as a lifting mechanism to pick up and scoop up all of that moist air at the surface and get it into that environment aloft where you've got a lot of colder air, and that warm moist air is more buoyant, and it just reaches what we call that level of free convection, and you get that storm to just billow up. And so that's something that we're going to continue to monitor along this outflow boundary over here that's coming into the north side of Potter County. So it looks like they lost power with the small C-band radar there in Stinnett. Let's see if our county power outage map shows up. Yeah, so it does look like these damaging winds are causing a bit of an issue. So this is looking at your county percentages of power outages. So we've got 0.1% there in Hutchinson County. About 40% of Moore County is without power right now, and that's due to this thunderstorm that has come ripped across the region. Again, we've got some winds gusting as high as 80 miles per hour. It looks like there's about 4,600 customers that don't have electricity right now. I'm assuming a lot of those are going to be kind of in that east side of Dumas, back up towards Sunray region. Those are going to be the areas that probably don't have electricity right now. There's only a few in Hutchinson County, but this storm is making its way into Hutchinson County, and it's about to make its way into the populated portions of the county as well. Stinnett, you guys are about to see some of that heavy rain set in. The worst of the winds are going to be down here in the hook of this storm, back here over towards Borger. The wind signature is not as crazy as it was earlier, but I mean, you still have some winds being depicted around 75, gusting. This is about 1,700 feet off the ground. And so you probably want to make sure that you're staying away from those exterior windows of the home. Don't need to be sitting there, peeking out the storm door, just trying to see what's going on. If there is any kind of debris with this, it's going to cause some issues. So don't be shocked if you start seeing some hail that's being tossed around with some of these strong winds. Wind-driven hail can be a very big problem, can blow out windows, windshields of vehicles, and things of that nature. So I think that's going to be your primary concern running through this morning. Again, the expected time of arrival really kind of depends on where exactly you're at. But for Borger, I would imagine that you guys are going to start seeing this come through here within the next few minutes. So here's kind of an expected time of arrival. We've got Hillard at 3:09. You've only got a couple of minutes before it gets there. McBride at 3:10. Borger at 3:12. So 5 minutes is about the expected time of arrival there in downtown Borger. If you're on the west side of town, it's going to be sooner than that. So just make sure you're stepping away from those outside windows. Don't need to accidentally see some of those break or things like that with some of these stronger winds that you're going to see come through the region. Texroy, 325 for you guys a bit further to the southeast. Skellytown, if this continues in that track, expect the worst of the winds to be there in about a half hour or so. You don't need to take immediate action, but you need to start making those preparations. If you've got anyone that's close to the windows, just make sure that you're kind of getting them away from them because this thing could be producing some strong winds.
Yeah, they're dropping this storm to penny-size hail that's heading towards Border right now. So definitely just a major wind event.
Yeah, it's going to be a big wind threat, and hopefully that's going to be all it is. It's just some strong winds. Clearly, we are starting to see some effects of that. If you look at our outage maps, so this is just your percentage of the counties that don't have electricity. So zooming out, you can see there's an orange spot smothered over Moore County, and that is just due to these strong damaging winds, likely potentially snapping power lines, transformers blowing up, things like that from this severe warning storm. So that's kind of the problems that it's portraying and bringing to the region is those winds could knock out power for you. And again, could cause some damage to some weaker structures. Hopefully, it doesn't toss any kind of hail or debris into a window and bust a window, things like that. But it is certainly possible. This is about to come through Borger here momentarily within the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, and they're gonna expire that severe thunderstorm that is exiting the Texas Panhandle, going over into western Oklahoma for portions of Hemphill and Lipscomb County.
Okay, yeah, that's that storm up in the northeast Panhandle. They're going to let that warning expire, at least here in the Panhandles. The warning will continue over in Roger Mills County, over in western Oklahoma, to the south of Arnett. Yeah, so Borger, you guys should start to see this come through at any moment. You can see there on the camera some sheets of rain there on the left-hand side.
About 5,000 customers now out in Moore County.
5,000 without power. Is that more
Yeah.
than it was last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm guessing we're gonna get an update for Hutchinson here after the storm kind of goes. I mean, it already updated almost to just above 150 people in Hutchinson.
Okay. So there's 150 people in Hutchinson County that don't have power out of the 13.2 thousand people that live there or that have electricity there. Again, about 40% of Moore County is without electricity right now due to this severe warm storm that's coming through. And then a 0.1% there in Borger. Got a few others up here, 1.5%, 2% there in Hartley and Sherman County. Again, this storm really flared up over Moore County as it came through. You can see again that hook feature starting to move into Borger right now, just to the west of y'all towards Buena Vista. Probably starting to see some of those strong winds already.
Power went out in Stinnett.
Yeah, power is now out in Stinnett. Again, that wind signature doesn't look that impressive on radar, but obviously it is pretty stout, very strong.
Yeah, they also lost power to their sky cam out there. Antics.
In Stinnett.
Yeah.
I would say Borger's still alive, it looks like. So you guys in Borger probably will start to see some areas lose power potentially. Wow, that was a really close lightning strike. So we're just going to kind of monitor this storm as it comes in. Again, if you're in Borger, you need to be getting away from the exterior windows of the home. Again, this is going to produce some very strong winds. Would hate to see this thing break a window, get you cut, things like that. So just make sure you're away from the exterior walls of the house or the, wherever you're staying and residing. You can see again, we've got that line of just sheets of rain off in the distance every now and then. We're getting some cloud to ground lightning strikes out ahead of this thing. That's another reason you don't need to be outside and out there on the front porch. You don't need to be get struck by lightning and things like that. But this is capable of 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. Stinnett has lost power.
Power's back at the sky cam. Yeah.
Yeah, it's raining cats and dogs there in Stinnett. Mm.
On the south side, are you starting to see that outflow boundary start to take away?
So here's that sky cam that's been going off and on online right now. So this is there in Stinnett. You can see it's just raining sheets right now. You can see the winds obviously shaking that camera around a lot. I mean, you can't really see much going on out there. That rain's coming down in buckets. I mean, don't be shocked if you're seeing an instantaneous rain rate as high as 6 inches an hour with this thing.
So it's somewhere here.
Do they say it's losing strength?
Yeah, as it moves southeast.
Okay. Well, that's some silver lining to Borger anyway. It is losing some strength and intensity. I mean, you can't see anything there in southern Hutchinson County. There at Meadowlark.
Mm.
Is that what you were pointing at earlier?
Yeah. Yeah, it's somewhere in between Borger and Fridge. At least that's what he's saying.
Or between Borger and Stinnett? Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
The correction.
Yeah. Heavy rain in Stinnett. Some occasional hailstones, but not able to see them. But yeah, it's raining so hard. Sheets of rain are coming down. It's gonna be hard to see anything.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what you'll experience is just really just droves of rain, sheets of rain coming through. Let's go ahead and jump back over to radar. So again, what you're looking at right now is likely this really bright core of rain that's coming through in between Fridge and Borger from that Skycam view there in southern Hutchinson County near Buena Vista. The storm's moving to the southeast. The good news is it's losing some intensity, but still a very strong storm, capable of winds up to 70 miles per hour. You can see that thing had a really, really good hook to it, really big hook to it up there in the northeast half of Moore County. This was where it probably was at its peak intensity, was right there as it came through Sunray. And again, obviously, you've got about 40% of Moore County without power right now because of this thunderstorm. And again, you've got a few showers behind it trying to pulse up too, which we'll have to keep an eye on for Amarillo if we get some additional storms to flare up. We've got another round of storms that's expected later this afternoon too, guys. Expecting probably a conditional supercell threat. Maybe again on Monday. Look at that. I told you it wasn't going to be quiet this weekend.
You did. That's why I'm just sitting back and shutting up. I was, oh, while we were gone, we just kept going back and forth on the pop. I was like, alas,
Get you.
that's why
Definitely.
you shut up and listen to your chief.
Been here a few years. I've seen it.
I
This
think
area,
we just had one day of a little like 30 pop. No, 40. 20? 40.
You
I
know,
ain't touch a single pop.
it'll humble you here. Definitely humble you here in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
Canadian, you guys are seeing some pretty stout rain right now, starting to fill in there in the northeast Panhandle. They've had over an inch of rain in Lipscomb. Sunray actually had about 8/10 of an inch of rain from this quick hitting thunderstorm. I'm not sure how short of a time frame that fell in, but they had about 9/10 of an inch. Couldn't have been more than a half hour.
Yeah, especially since the storm looks like it's like picking up some speed.
Little thunderstorms trying to fire up on the backside.
Yeah, now they're saying it's moving at 45 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's picking it, it's booking it across Hutchinson County. It's going to move towards Skellytown, White Deer, Pampa. You guys are in the warning. Again, just to expect some winds as high as 70 miles an hour to be possible. Let's go ahead and take a look from, let's take a look back at southern Hutchinson County just to see what it kind of looks like out there again. It looks like the camera went offline 3 minutes ago. So they've lost power there. So this is in Borger, right there at the administration building for the school district. Lots of lightning. You can see that rain getting a lot closer. Still not raining yet over the school district, but it's close. It should start raining soon. There's a big CG that just occurred there.
They're dropping the winds to 60 and removing hail.
Removing hail from it.
All right, so they're going to bump it down to 60 mile per hour winds, and they've gotten rid of the hail threat with this storm.
It almost looks like the outflow boundary is trying to race ahead of it now.
Yeah, it is, especially on the south portion of the storm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where that supercell's embedded in it, it's still keeping up with it, but it is trying to race out ahead of it. And you're seeing some attempts at some additional storm development there in southern Moore County. You can see all these kind of pulsing up here from Channing back towards Lake Meredith. All that stuff, the storm motion's moving to the east, but you've got the southern motion of the outflow. I wouldn't be shocked if we've got scattered thunderstorms here in Amarillo, 5 a.m. or 4 to 5 a.m. I will say that at least it's not like that MCV where we had all the tornadoes earlier this year
Oh yeah, that was
until 6 a.m.
Yep.
This is mostly a damaging wind threat that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
It's filling in there over Borger.
The emergency manager got reports of power out in Sunray. and multiple reports of damage from downed buildings to power poles, snapped in half, trees blocking roadways. It's Sunray. That's where you did say you thought it was at its peak too.
Oh yeah, Sunray. Yeah.
So emergency manager got reports of power out in Sunray, multiple reports of damage from downed buildings to power poles snapped in half, and trees down blocking roadways.
No wonder nearly half the
All right,
You know,
Ian, do you want to do a quick cut in, or what? Can we do a quick cut in?
now 5,300. Or
Okay.
about 440 out in Hutchinson. Guess that number's probably gonna climb here.
Yeah, it's growing. Do you want to drive? I'll go ahead and do this cut in. If you want to stop it over Sunray too, we can talk about the damage they've got there first.
You're
Stand by. Stand by. Good Sunday morning, everyone. We are breaking into programming to give you a quick recap on supercell that's worked its way through Moore and Hutchinson County. This is from about an hour ago. Again, just showing you what this storm looked like as it came through Sunray. You can see again the hook here, right there, just underneath the community, but you've got the really bright reflectivity and whatnot here. The emergency manager there in Moore County was here recently. Had a storm report. Lots of damage, potentially down portions of down buildings to power poles being snapped in half and the trees blocking roadways. So this storm has caused a considerable amount of damage in the town of Sunray. There's about 40% of the county that does not have electricity right now. Power is out because of this destructive storm that's worked its way through the area. Let's bring it up to current timing and current speed. You can see that storm has really kind of surged pretty far to the southeast. Looks like it's really weakened in intensity, so it's not as big of a threat as it was when it was moving through Moore County, but still warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds until 4 a.m. Here for another 30 to 40 minutes. But this is coming down towards Skellytown, White Deer, between White Deer and Pampa. You guys should see the brunt of the winds with this one. Again, it shouldn't be as bad as it was as it came through Moore County, but you can expect probably some very strong winds with it. It's really picked up speed too, moving at about 45 miles an hour. So here's your estimated time of arrival, Skellytown at 3:30, so about 8 minutes from now. Just make sure you're staying away from those exterior windows. And White Deer, 3:39, Pampa, 3:48, LaFours at 4:02 a.m. Let's go ahead and take a look at our power outage map under our current observations. So use that drop down arrow, it's underneath currents, and we can take a look at the percentage of the county that Moore County has without. It's kind of in the bottom half of that list, but
sorry, I can't find it. Do you see it?
What was the name of it again?
What was the name of it?
it's current percentage counties. So under currents, go to county outage percentage.
Okay. County.
So
There we go.
you
Sorry
can
about that.
see we've got this orange dot here, and again, you take a sample of it. That's about 40% of the county that does not have electricity. A lot of that's going to be up there. It's actually bumped up to 43.5, and that's just due to all the extensive damage that's being reported there in Sunray. And again, you've got about 3.25% of Hutchinson County. It's about a few hundred people that don't have electricity out there as well. Current rain rate there at the site in Border is 2.5 inches per hour. So they're dealing with some really extreme rain rates. But wanted to just get on and just talk about the damage that occurred there in Sunray, where again there was reports of snapped power poles, downed trees blocking roadways, and even reports of portions of buildings being downed as well. So obviously that storm caused a tremendous amount of damage there at Sunray. We'll continue to try and dig up some more information on this. We are live on YouTube if you want to stay weather aware with us through the rest of this morning. We're going to get you back to programming for now. If you don't have the Storm Surge 7 weather app, you can scan that QR code on the left-hand side of your screen. That'll help keep you weather aware with us here at Storm Surge 7. If you got those notifications turned on the app, you'll make sure to get those warnings as well.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You're fine.
I couldn't find it.
That's the first time I've seen it. Glad we have it.
Oh, I'm in the wrong thing.
Go over here. Reflectivity. This reflectivity.
Oh.
Looks like
4 inches an hour.
Fritch gusted to 68 miles per hour. So right at 70. I'm gonna send that storm report to the newsroom.
Yeah, maybe we could send someone up there. Yeah.
Looks fun.
Mm-hmm. Especially if there's down buildings.
Yeah, that's pretty extensive. That one.
Oh, did I?
So again, we've got that one severe warning storm that's moving in towards Skellytown right now. You guys need to be getting away from the windows, especially those external ones.
Just kind of talk about what else is going on. A lot of this stuff is really, hanging out in the northeast panhandles right now. I mean, still seeing probably a little bit of rainfall in Perryton, seeing a good amount of rainfall likely in Canadian at the moment, all of which is sub-severe, but um, still going to see a good amount of rain as this complex continues to push east-southeast here through the early morning hours. Or it looks like you're still probably getting a good amount of heavy rain. It does look like that outflow boundary just south of that storm is trying to race ahead of it, but the storm's keeping up. The storm's moving about 45 miles per hour, so it's starting to book it across portions of the region. Folks in Amarillo, we'll probably have to watch this stuff that's kind of backbuilding a little bit here, west and portions of Moore County and northern Potter County there. Maybe you could see a little bit more rainfall early this morning, but the latest model run has this storm, the severe warning storm, kind of starting to, I don't want to say fizzle out, but definitely weaken here over the course of the next 30 to 40 minutes. Let's see if that holds true.
Yeah, I mean, National Weather Service is saying right now those storms do not have strong cores, but the main threat remains the damaging straight line winds associated with it. And I think that's pretty evident from the storm reports out of Moore County.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whenever got to take it into a grain of salt what what we're being considered buildings, whether that's sheds or if it's a barn or things of that nature. But to have power line poles snapped in a good chunk of the city, that's pretty extensive. I mean, some of those power line poles are 12 inches thick. I mean, you're talking about winds probably gusting over 80 miles per hour, and that will cause a lot of problems. So
Yeah, up to 1,600 people in Hutchinson.
Okay, yeah. So the outage map continues to climb on the number of people without electricity there for Hutchinson County. It's
62 for more.
6,200 in Moore County, and it's up to, you said 1,600 in Hutchinson
Yeah.
County.
Yep.
So we'll probably see that reflected soon here on our map. You've got 43.5% of the county without power there in Moore County. And then you've got Hutchinson. So there's that update. Now up to more than half of Moore County is without power.
In terms of the rainfall, Pantex had a rainfall rate of almost 4 inches an hour.
Very
For-
heavy rain.
For their Stinnett, I'm guessing. For their site is, I believe that. Yeah, I'm guessing he's talking about. So that's in Borger. That was in Borger. That's what he was talking about. Yeah. Already.
I mean, technically, we still do have the flood watch that's in effect
Yeah.
for this part of the panic, if I'm not mistaken. And that should be lasting until about 9 a.m.
So here's your secondary cell that's going to keep us going until 7 a.m.
I mean, the Hurries had a pretty good grasp of it.
If it stays below severe limits, that's fine by me.
Any of us, especially with following.
I will say, with all this activity this morning, I don't know how active this afternoon's going to be.
Yeah, the latest her has maybe one cell trying to develop over there in eastern New Mexico.
Yeah, like this may screw up today's storm chances, so we may be waiting till Monday for a better chance for some isolated to scattered stuff.
With all this rain, probably a little cooler tomorrow.
I mean, you had us in the 80s anyway today
I
and
was
tomorrow.
hesitant. I was looking at the NAM and it screamed 74, I think it said.
For Sunday or Monday?
Sunday. It said 74, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just stumbling. It's been a little over 14
No,
hours since I
that's
wrote it.
no, you're right. It said 74 today.
Yeah, I was like,
That's
what am I going to write on this?
pretty wild.
But it's been cooler the last 3 days straight, so
Yeah, we haven't hit most of the forecast highs this week. They've been a little bit colder than forecast.
yeah, I was splitting hairs.
What does
Fun stuff, right?
No, it was too much. I was
Yeah,
the HER has us at 90 today?
but I don't know.
If we clear out, we'll see the sun come out and it'll warm up. The cloud cover is usually the big buster for your forecast temps or a cold front.
I mean, what do I have as the conditions? Partly cloudy for tomorrow? That's what threw me off. I couldn't understand.
Well, it's pretty clear up in Beaver County right now, or Cimarron County. Here, I'll show you what you guys kind of like talking about. Just we're talking about temperatures, for today, but you can see there's really not much cloud cover out here. Once this stuff clears out, I mean, we're probably going to see quite a bit of sunshine. So I would still think that we get up close to your 88 that you gave us.
Monday.
You know what that smells like? Those wondering if Round of applause to you, Matt. I don't know how you wake up.
You get used to it.
That's humbling. I was
You
humbled too many times this week.
you get used to it though.
I mean, this outflow boundary is heading straight south.
Mm-hmm. We'll probably see some gusty winds here.
Yeah, I would imagine we'll probably see some, 40 to 50-mile-an-hour gusts off of that stuff coming through Amarillo. Skellytown starting to see some heavy rainfall.
National Weather Service thinks that we hopefully will be on a downward trend here in storm intensity.
So that's reassuring. A downward trend, at least for the moment, would be a welcome sight. Still have that severe warning storm until 4 a.m. though. But if it continues that downward trend, they probably will not re-up the severe thunderstorm warning. They may let this one be the last one until it expires. So we'll see. But we'll hang around with you guys for another 15, 20 minutes. If things continue to trend downhill from here, we'll probably end the live and we'll see what the next few hours bring us. We do have the severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 6 a.m. We also have the aerial flood watch in effect until 9 a.m. for the northeastern portion of the panhandle. So here's your flood watch. You can see that encompasses a good chunk of the area in the northeast. We have the aerial flood advisory up here until 5 a.m. where they had 2.5 inches of rain in Stratford. They've had an inch plus of rain in Lipscomb. Some of these areas have been a little hard to catch the good rains this year, from really like Booker west towards Dalhart and Clayton. So it's a good that they are seeing some of that rain tonight. Unfortunately, Sunray kind of had to deal with some really damaging winds that was associated with that as well. But the severe thunderstorm watch will continue until 6 a.m. or until otherwise noted. You can see we've got again some really spotty showers and storms on the north side of Potter County. We'll see if if this outflow boundary produces any additional storms. Looks like they're kind of struggling. They may miss us to the east at this rate. Lightning intensity and static discharge sources have been on a downward trend too, because this was up to almost 400,000 static sources about 15 minutes ago. Now it's down to 304. So good news.
Good news.
Good news. Storms losing intensity. It's down to 303, 302. One of you guys mind taking over real quick?
Hey, all right, back in the saddle. All right, taking a look currently at our area at large. We still do have this giant polygon here. Currently coming a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for Carson County, as well as portions of Gray County, Roberts, and Hutchinson. As this line of severe storms continues to move through, mainly warned due to the gusty winds associated with it. At this time, again, we did have some reports of damage back in Moore County as this storm moves through Sunray. You can even see it when this kind of resets back around 2:30-ish to 2:30-ish a.m., where it kind of went through Sunray. We see a lot of those dark purples and pinks, lots of heavy rain, hail, and of course the gusty winds. And we did get some reports of damage out of Sunray. But at this point in time, we are watching what looks like a downward trend in the strength of these storms as they continue to move to the south and east. Right now, it's been moving about 45 miles an hour or so. So it has picked up speed um, for sure over the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, they still have an issue for about penny-sized hail, and really the main threat is the 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. So we saw a downward trend in the winds, which is a good sign. It does look like that outflow boundary is trying to race ahead of it. Now the storm's still keeping up with it, so overall a downward trend. The National Weather Service still has it issued until 4 a.m. for portions of Carson, Hutchinson, Roberts, and even portions of Gray County there. So, folks in Pampa, this is heading your way, and mainly a wind threat now, 60-mile-per-hour winds. So, still stay away from likely those west, northwest facing windows. But it does look like the good news is it should be continuing to weaken here. At least that's what the latest model runs have been trying to hint at us. Now, folks in Amarillo, we may see some gusty winds, about 40 to 50 miles per hour here as that outflow boundary makes its way closer to us. But as far as rain chances go, they will be fairly slim. We got to keep our eye to make sure about any of those storms trying to backbuild there off the main apparent storm. It's maybe we could see a little bit of rainfall early this morning, but folks in Canyon, nothing going on. Hereford, quiet, but we still have that severe thunderstorm watch until 6 a.m. for the majority of the Texas Panhandle there. But we're seeing a little bit more development up coming out of Colorado and Kansas for portions of Cimarron and even Texas counties there. Again, still sub-severe as of this time, and that's what we're kind of hoping for as we get into the early morning hours here.
Yeah, 100%. And even taking a look at the timing of who's up next for that heavy rainfall and even penny-sized hail for some of the stronger portions of this storm. Right now, um, Skellytown is being impacted right now. But right down the pike, we're talking about Pampa. You'll be impacted by this. It says around 352 if it keeps its speed around 45 miles an hour. LaFours, 4:07 a.m., Jericho, 4:12. But even further down over the next hour or so, Clarendon, should this storm maintain its strength, although it looks like it might be on a downward trend, you may be dealing with some heavy rains, even some gusty winds around 4:30 in the morning, 4:36, as this storm continues to progress to the south and east.
Yeah, National Weather Service is saying the same things we've been kind of saying here. It's continuing on this downward trend, which is good news. So I mean, folks downstream of this, southeast of Pampa, might still see some rain early this morning, but hopefully we continue to see this kind of dwindle off here over the next, 15, 20 minutes. Because
Right.
they're keeping the severe thunderstorm warning for now, just for those 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But
And I mean, this storm has had a history um,
what did they get?
of being damaging. I just want to see if they've updated any of the power.
Yeah, still about the same amount on the power outage map here. So that there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah, about the same 51 half, about 12.5%. Moore County definitely getting hit the hardest as the storm moved through Sunray specifically, but even Dumas was hit. Um, and the storm continued to move in that southeast direction, bringing some issues of power in Stinnett earlier this evening, Borger as well. So you're seeing there in
Yeah, it definitely looks like when about 2:30 this morning, this storm intensified up to about 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that was right at the time when it was near Sunray. Sunray looks like they got the brunt of this storm, definitely. Yeah, the emergency management has been, if you're just joining us, sending in some reports of down power lines. They're saying down buildings. Now, what does that really entail? Well, hopefully we get some more reports here as we get into the morning hours, but still looks like it's on a downward trend, which is a good sign.
And it even looks like some of these storms that we're trying to develop on the west southwest portion of this line of storms has congealed to the main parent part of it. Um, but it looks like Amarillo may be skimmed by some light to moderate rain should it hold. But you see this outflow boundary is starting to continue to extend out in front of it. So that might be indicating some of those strong winds pushing out ahead of it, and then Amarillo might get some, some wind gusts um, due to that outflow boundary extending so far out um, from this storm. And I mean, we can try and time what that might look like in terms of that outflow boundary making its way to Amarillo. I mean, storm's moving at 45 miles an hour. Well, within the next 10 minutes or so, Amarillo might be experiencing some gusty winds associated with that outflow boundary as it continues to move south out in front of that storm. But it looks like the rain might just miss Amarillo proper just to the east, um, at least at this point in time. At least at this point in time. Let's clear some of this out.
Yeah, it does look like that the National Weather Service will not reissue a new severe thunderstorm warning as the line continues to be on the weaker side.
Yeah.
So again, they'll likely keep it probably going for the next 10, 15 minutes, but it looks like that this thing is weakened quite a bit. Main threat now is just maybe some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
Right. While moderate to heavy rain is going to still be an issue with these storms, flash flooding isn't so much a concern at this point in time, although we do have a flood watch that's issued until 9 a.m. This morning. Uh, the main reason is because these storms are moving quite quickly. So while there are heavy downpours associated with some of these storms, they're just moving at such a quick clip. We're talking about 45 miles an hour or so. It's just not able to produce enough to situate or for a flash flood warning or advisory or anything of that nature to be issued at this point in time. But at this point in time, it does look like this is our only severe thunderstorm warning that's currently in effect here at this point in time, set to expire at 4 a.m. Should there be any additional updates, we'll definitely keep you updated on social media. We'll try to update you as frequently as we can. But at this point in time, the severe thunderstorm warning that is in this currently impacting parts of Carson, Gray, and Roberts County is set to expire at 4 a.m. So again, if you would like any additional updates, stay tuned to our social media should there be any additional development. But at this point in time, we're going to leave you here. Thank you for bearing with us, and we hope that you remain safe and take care and have a great rest of your night.